To put in simple terms, sim racing is the recreation of automobile racing in the form of a computer program. You are using these mathematical equations to create systems similar to real life, such as engine dynamics, fuel economy, aerodynamics, tire wear, and so on. One of the main things I'd say sets sim racing apart from racing games is you have the pure unfiltered driving taking precedence over other tasks. Look at the Burnout Racing series. You have the simplified driving model in favor of doing crazy tasks such as smashing cars off the road or crazy aerial stunts. You are sacrificing the driving model in favor of gameplay characteristics and functions such as that. In sim racing, you have the pure unfiltered driving where your main focus is on driving the cars and completing a race. You're not worrying about escaping the police, you're not worrying about doing a double barrel roll, you are just focusing on driving the cars. One of the things I love about sim racing is you are able to drive all these historic cars in the context of these series. You see all sorts of classic car racing nowadays, but they are with modern tires and a modern environment. Being born in 1993, I missed out on some of the most important eras of racing, such as the Group C prototypes or classic Formula One series. I never got to see Senna race in person, but with sim racing, I get to recreate that era of his life with driving some of his classic race cars. For sim racing hardware, it truly is a case of you get what you pay for. There are the entry-level offerings such as the Thrustmaster TMX and T150, which can be had for under $200, but you are ultimately going to want to have a step up above that to have a more realistic experience. On the console side, I would recommend either the Thrustmaster TX T300RS or the Fanatec CSL Elite series. And if you're wanting to make that strong investment in the PC racing side and you don't really care about the console side, I would recommend either an open sim wheel or any other direct drive steering wheels. You will have that immersion factor. Granted, you might not be the fastest driver, but you would have that immersion factor into our hobby. For sim racing titles, there isn't really any one that does everything right. There are titles that do each of their own specific things well at the cost of something else. iRacing has the most competitive model, the most fully fleshed out online system, but at the cost of a steep price and no single player. R-Factor 2 is by far one of the most technically advanced racing simulations, but it is a little sore on the eyes and is rather unpolished. Assetto Corsa is basically Gran Turismo on the PC, but at the same time you are going to lack a lot of the basic racing rules. Automobilista is a very solid racing platform, however, it is on dated architecture. So my basic answer is check out all of the titles, see which one suits your needs best, and run with that. For people getting started in sim racing, I will say devote some time into it. You're not going to be a professional driver right from the get-go. It takes effort, it takes practice, it takes work to become a successful driver. You are going to spend a lot of time running off the corners. You're going to spend a lot of time making mistakes. But then, once you become a solid racing driver, that is an extremely rewarding experience.